Good morning. Welcome to the National Geothermal Summit here at the Grand Sierra Resort and Casino. A couple of opening notes. I want to thank our gold level sponsors, Ormat and Stoll Reeves. I also want to thank our co-sponsors. The City of Reno is a co-sponsor, the Western Area Power Administration, the National Geothermal Academy, and for this morning's coffee, I want to thank NL Green Power. We're here today to pull together people from the state, federal, regulatory agencies, the range of people who are critically important to whether or not geothermal projects are going to move forward in Nevada, northern Nevada, and across the West. And to have a dialogue, to have a discussion, to find out what is it that we can be doing to make these projects move faster and keep this industry growing, to bring the jobs, the economic benefits, the environmental benefits that are possible through expanded geothermal use. And I hope throughout the day we'll have that kind of interactive discussion that hopefully by the time we're done and we leave here, we'll have some new ideas. You've heard me say several times, we came here because we thought we stood a lot better chance to get some fresh new ideas in Reno than we seem to be getting in Washington. But I'll tell you, there are a lot of people in Washington who are still open and searching for those things that could help grow clean energy like geothermal here and across the West. And I want to start this morning with some opening remarks. I noted this morning, Mayor, I noticed the newspaper here. If you haven't seen it, this is today's paper. We're below the fold, not above the fold, but here it is, Reno, a hotbed of geothermal energy. And to welcome you here this morning, we'll start with the Mayor of Reno, Bob Cashell. Mayor.
Well, thank you very much. Welcome to the biggest little city in the world. I hope that while you're here, you'll be able to get out and see some of the things that we have in this community. We're very close to Virginia City. You're only a 30, 40-minute ride up to Lake Tahoe. We have a beautiful whitewater rafting and kayak course downtown. Carl wanted me to get in a kayak, folks. You know how big a kayak is? I'm 73 years old, weigh 260 pounds. You've never seen an old fat ass like me in a kayak, have you? Huh? But you know, welcome to the city, and it's a great honor for me to be able to welcome you. One of the reasons I think you should make Reno home, besides the geothermal, and because of the help that we've gotten from the Bureau of Land Management, working on leases and making things happen and not acting like the bureaucrats back in Washington. But they've been very helpful to us in helping us work and do things. But one of the things I really love about Reno, and I think you would love it too, no corporate, personal income, unitary, franchise, inventory, inheritance, estate, or gift taxes. Now, those are about 8 reasons I really love this place. But it's a great honor for me to be here and welcome you and to present a proclamation to Carl. Whereas the inaugural GEA National Geothermal Summit will be held from August 16th through the 17th of 2011 at the Grand Sierra Resort and Casino, and whereas the geothermal industry has the potential to provide clean, baseload electricity, and whereas geothermal energy is a clean, renewable resource from the interior of the earth that is essentially limitless, estimated to be equivalent to 42 million megawatts of power, and is expected to remain so for billions of years to come, ensuring the supply of energy. And whereas 144 geothermal projects estimated to be under development in the U.S. are projected to produce over 624,000 jobs. Now therefore I, Robert A. Cashell Sr., Mayor of the City of Reno, Nevada, do hereby proclaim Wednesday, August the 17th, 2011, as Geothermal Energy Day. Welcome to Reno, Nevada. Y'all have a great convention while you're here. That's right. Good.
Okay, great. Thank you, Mayor Cashel, and I want to now ask Matt Tuma from Senator Reed's staff to join us. I think Senator Reed obviously should need no introduction in this crowd. He's been a great supporter of geothermal in the state of Nevada, with some remarks from Senator Reed. Matt?
Thank you very much. Senator Reed wanted me to be here and welcome you all to the Silver State. There have been a lot of geothermal events here in Northern Nevada, and Senator Reed appreciates your investment in Northern Nevada and the Nevada's economy. He asked me to read this welcome letter. Reads, "Dear friends, it is my great pleasure to welcome you to Reno, Nevada for the National Geothermal Summit. I'm sorry I could not be with you today, but would like to thank the Geothermal Energy Association for organizing this important gathering. Northern Nevada is proud to host this inaugural event, which provides an excellent opportunity for national and state leaders to see firsthand the Silver State's leadership in building a 21st century clean energy future. Nevada's economic recovery depends on our ability to take advantage of the state's abundant natural resources and translate them into economic opportunity. I will continue fighting to meet that challenge and to ensure that Nevada remains the geothermal capital of the nation and America's leader in clean energy development. Geothermal energy is a vital source of renewable baseload power generation and plays a key role in producing clean domestic energy. Continued support of the geothermal industry is crucial at the federal, state, and local levels of government. I'm confident that together we can power Nevada and the United States with clean, renewable energy, bolster a growing local industry, and create thousands of new jobs if we invest in our geothermal energy resources. I applaud your efforts and wish you a successful and enjoyable summit. Sincerely, Harry Reid, United States Senator." So thank you very much for welcoming me here today. I'll be around this morning, as well as we have another staffer who handles energy issues, Alex McDonough, who will be around today. And if you have any issues, please don't hesitate to contact us, and we'd be happy to pass those messages on to the Senator and see how we can move forward. So thank you.
Thank you, Matt. Okay, the welcomes are over. Now let's get to the heart of the substance here and start off with obviously a major partner. When you're in the state of Nevada, you hear from the mayor, the governor, but you have to realize that the biggest landowner in the state is the federal government. And if you're going to do business here in the West, whether it's California or elsewhere, you're going to do business with the federal government and principally the Bureau of Land Management. And I would say that most people, while I hear a lot of complaints about the Bureau of Land Management, most people think the Bureau of Land Management has come a long way in the last few years in terms of geothermal energy and moving projects forward. And I think our question here is, how do we build on that and move forward? And to begin that discussion, I want to introduce Neil Cornsey, who's the Senior Advisor to the Director of Bureau of Land Management. Neil.
Thank you and good morning. My first impression this morning as walking in is that times are good in geothermal because these are nice folders. I'm going to keep that one. It's a real pleasure to be here today with the leading advocates for geothermal energy in the United States. As you know, President Obama has set aggressive goals for energy independence in America. He's called on us by 2025 to have 25% of our electricity produced through renewable energy sources. Without a doubt, developing renewable energy on public lands will play a large role in meeting that goal. But while our renewable energy resources are immense, there are limits on how much land is suitable for the siting of energy production facilities. At the BLM and at the Department of the Interior, we are committed to working with you and the many stakeholders we have to find the right places to make energy happen. Put more simply, we are committed to working smart from the start. For those of you who may not have worked directly with the Bureau of Land Management, let me give you a very brief overview. We work primarily in 12 western states. We have 10,000 employees that oversee roughly 250 million acres of land across 26 states. And we also have 700 million acres of subsurface mineral assets that we oversee on behalf of you and your fellow citizens. This makes the BLM the largest land management agency in the country. And on that broad landscape that we manage, we have identified areas that we believe have strong geothermal potential. In 2008, the Bureau of Land Management and the Forest Service completed an environmental impact statement that opened 192 million acres of land to geothermal leasing and potential development. Using that study as a foundation for our efforts, over the last 2.5 years, we have worked with you to increase the total geothermal production on BLM lands to 1,300 megawatts. That represents almost half of the geothermal energy production in the United States and enough to keep the lights on in 1.3 million homes. The BLM is proud to play such a central role in the development of our country's geothermal resources, and we are particularly proud of the jobs these projects create and the much-needed boost received by local communities in tough times like these. With new projects coming online, like the Tuscarora and McGinnis Hills projects that were approved in July, and the Salt Wells projects that we are actively working on today. We have some excellent staff from the Carson City office here that intimately know that project. We expect strong growth in the geothermal sector in the years ahead. And that growth will be long-term. Over the next few decades, we foresee as much or more than 12,000 megawatts of geothermal production from public lands. One critical point that I want to share with you is that the Department of the Interior is not just pushing on renewable energy today. We are in this for the long term. Secretary Ken Salazar has made it clear that renewable energy belongs to each and every one of the agencies that he oversees, not just the Bureau of Land Management. And we, as a department, are committed to making these efforts a permanent part of who we are and what we do every day. In closing, I'd like to applaud you for making the United States the leading geothermal energy producer in the world. That is a significant accomplishment, and this is a field in which the United States needs to remain strong. As you work to increase geothermal energy production even more here in America, you can count on the Bureau of Land Management to work with you to tackle critical challenges that I know will be discussed later today, including strengthening sage-grouse populations across the West, improving procedures and timelines for permitting of projects, and working to unlock new energy resources through the permitting of critical transmission lines. All of these things are possible through collaboration and partnership, and the Bureau of Land Management is proud to be your partner in addressing them. Like you, we see a very bright future for geothermal energy in America, and it's an honor to be here today to share a few thoughts with you. Thank you.
Thank you, Neil. The remarks, I think, hopefully the spirit of those remarks will carry throughout the day as we have other people from federal agencies joining us in more of the interactive discussions. Because I think you framed it correctly. I mean, the question is, we need to move forward, we need to continue to move forward, we need to move forward faster for a lot of national reasons. So one thing that despite everyone's concerns, you know, they don't understand that there's still a lot of consensus in Washington, as you can see. We need jobs, we need economic growth, we need to deal with our national energy security problems, we need to deal with our environmental issues, and somehow we need to figure that out and still deal with the rest of the issues like the federal deficit. And that's part of what I hope today is about, and I think that's the spirit we're entering this into. And to follow your remarks and opening up this session is the sort of the flip side of this. It was one of the leading companies in geothermal energy. For those who know or were here last night, ORMAT received the Economic Development Award for its tremendous role in bringing geothermal further ahead in the West and really bringing geothermal energy in the organic Rankine cycle to Nevada. I mean, as we said last night, this industry wouldn't exist in Nevada if it weren't for ORMAT and the work it's done over the years. So it's the teaming up of effective, efficient government processes and companies that can get the job done and build this industry like Ormat has shown that I think we need to look at and say, how do we keep that going? And to follow on my notes, I want to introduce and be honored to introduce the President and Chief Operating Officer of that company, Yoram Bernicki. Yoram.
Thank you, Carl. I want to welcome all to Reno, but this was done much better by the mayor. We've been here since 1984, and I think that we were initially small, one of a few companies, but by now there's a lot of other geothermal companies in Reno, and that's really a great thing. Reno is really a great place to work and to live in. As for the membership in the GEA, we really treasure our membership. I think that this is an organization that has done a lot of tremendous work over the years, working tirelessly to advocate policies, promote development and the utilization of the geothermal energy, and really take a moment to acknowledge the work and dedication of Carl as the GEA's executive director. Everything that he has done for the industry, for us, whether it was in Washington, D.C. or in the deserts of the Imperial Valley. And really, let's give a hand to Carl. But as many of you know, there are many projects today that are under development in the United States and that are projected to produce construction job and clean power over the next few years. And they require substantial investment, and all of you or most of you are involved in trying either to find that money or spend that money or provide that money. And the beautiful part about geothermal is the fact that it's not only clean power, but it's only clean power and clean work that comes predominantly from the Western United States. And in that way, we share the same path, or the same attributes as our bigger friends in wind and in solar power, but we are different, and I think that it's important that we continue and make the distinction between geothermal and the rest of the industries. And like the first class or second class in marketing, a lot of what we need to do is about differentiation. We cannot compete with them on scale. Whether you're hugely optimistic about the geothermal potential in the United States or you're more cautiously pessimistic, we will remain much smaller than wind and power. We are tied to specific locations, and the potential is limited. However, what we provide is a premium product, and what we need to focus on is really the positive attributes, the fact that it's a premium product, and gain as much as we can for that. It's also a homegrown industry, and I think that in today's environment, this is a very important element, and it should be stressed. I think that with all the good things that we have done, or the GEA has done for us, there's always changing times, and we need to try and look at what are the additional points, or where should the GEA focus, or where should we as an industry group focus in the next few years. And to me, of course, this is the essence of the summit, and there are very interesting discussions that are planned for the summit. But if I would have to say what I see as the issues, is first of all, as an industry organization, we need to work on our credibility. We need to focus the reality. We should stay away from generating hopes that are not going to materialize. And because geothermal is so fundamental, we have a lot of material to work with. Just need to stay on task, on topic, and focus on those things. The issues, I think there's a lot of things that can help geothermal industry, but we cannot grow without large-scale exploration. And large-scale exploration is not what was done in the last 5 years. It has to be much larger. We need to have the ability as an industry to go through large parcels of land and find out which are the resources that are reasonable to develop today. And I think that there's a lot of work on how to make this happen. How do you allow for quick exploration where you know that the success rate is going to be, I'd take a chance and say less than 25%. And therefore, spending a lot of time trying to permit an area just to find out whether there's resource there probably doesn't make a lot of sense. Or it makes sense, but not to an engineer. And I think that we need to find ways to work on this. I think that it's important that we find ways, and Carl has been working on this tirelessly, but we need to find ways to make sure that geothermal industry is treated at least as good as wind and solar, and this is not the case, not when it comes to taxes, abatements, credits. Again, a lot of this is county and state specific, but also on the federal level, and I think that there's a lot of work to do there. I think that we need to find ways to work with our off-takers together, and I'm happy to say that with NV Energy we have had a very good relationship on this, but with some of the other off-takers, we need to find ways to work together to relate to the regulators the advantages and the advantages of the geothermal industry, the high capacity factor, the high utilization of the grid, which somehow should be translated into a premium in price. And if you look at the history in the last few years, it actually worked the other way. Solar projects actually got higher prices than geothermal projects. And with a lot of speculation on what photovoltaics will do in the coming years, with a lot of speculation, I think that there are some contracts, some PPAs that are signed based on future assumptions of developers on what prices would be on the photovoltaic side. This puts our industry actually at a challenging point, and we need to find ways to address it. When you couple this with the fact that we have a long development cycle, in order to develop additional plants in the future, in order to decide to do exploration work today, the developer has to believe that a contract can be signed for a power plant that will be built 4 or 5 years from now. So I think that there's work that we need to do together with the off-takers to carve out some specific guidelines for our industry. And I would say that the next challenge is how do we differentiate ourselves from the other industries on the renewable power when it comes to land use. One of our advantages is that we have a much smaller land use per megawatt hour produced. We interfere much less, and a lot of the concerns that some organizations have with renewable energy is really the massive land occupation that results from that. Just come back from Tuscarora. This is why I'm dressed so nicely. And we have an 18 megawatt power plant there that is being constructed, 3 production wells, 4 injection wells, in an active ranching area. It should be easy to permit this. It should be easy to work there. At the end, we will not change much. And I think that it's important both on the regulator side, but maybe on the public eye, in the public eye more than that, because people tend to simplify and bundle geothermal with a massive solar farm, and that's not the case. And the last item that I would say is really that we have to find ways to continue and boost science. Science is critical for large-scale exploration, for the ability to do that, for the ability to do this cheaply. So much has been developed here in the United States and specifically in the West. And science and education, as well as training workforce, these are areas where the boom and bust is really, the boom is good, but the bust is really damaging, and in some areas we actually find that and see that generation gap. So these are my comments, but the work is for you to do, so thank you for your time and have a great summit.